let's be honest. The world's definition of the word balance, it just doesn't work for high performers. It's built for comfort, not growth. It celebrates moderation when your goals demand obsession. And when you continue to buy in to society's definition or version of the word balance, trying to do it all, pleasing everybody, maintaining appearances, you end up stretched thin, constantly juggling, and never feeling fulfilled. What's up, fellow golfer? I hope that one hit home. I hope that one hit you deep in the soul. I'm thrilled you're here. Welcome back to another episode of the Scratch Golfer's Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Paul Salter, the golf hypnotherapist, and I'm a mindset and performance coach who has a unique gift around helping you get unstuck and out of your own way by beginning to observe and dismantle the destructive patterns of thinking, feeling, believing, and behaving that are holding you back from achieving your potential. A lot to dig into today. This one is personal. This is a topic that I have, if you've been listening closely, asked numerous of my guests about lately. It's this concept, this word, this myth, balance. We're going to dig into that today. But before we do, I'm recording this, It's Monday, October 20th. My club's member guest is a mere few days away. Practice round on Thursday, and then the 2 competitive rounds, Friday and Saturday. I'm excited. I told you I would update you on the back-to-back rounds I had an opportunity to play a little over a week ago. I can sum up those 2 rounds with one 9-hole stretch. 3 pars, 1 birdie, and 3 triple bogeys. Yes, that was literally a front 9 stretch I had. I was a little erratic. Found myself making one too many mistakes, sometimes consistent mistakes, yet seeing so many flashes of greatness. Had a lesson after, feeling things are coming together, and just really looking forward to fucking competing, getting out there. I think the best part, or one of the best parts, is that my partner from the member back in March or April is in my flight for this member guest event. So I am ready to stick it to him. That's right, Pat. If you're listening, I'm coming for you. But all things aside, really looking forward to just getting out there and playing, unburdened, unfazed, locked in, allowing the skill acquisition and development that I have accumulated the past few months to shine, and to shine fucking brightly. I'm excited to feel the emotion of needing to make that putt to have or win a hole. And it's going to be fun. And next week, the 27th, I'll do a full recap of member guests. And as you know, every Thursday, we have phenomenal conversations with incredible, brilliant minds in the realms of performance, sports psychology, and beyond. But as I alluded to, a couple past episodes and a couple more down the pipeline that I've already recorded with the guest, I talk a lot about, or I raise the question in conversation about balance. Can a high achiever, can a high performer be balanced? Can they strive for balance? What does balance even mean? And so many of us are inundated with this concept of work-life balance. You know, you go put in your 40 hours, you come home, you tend to the wife or your significant other, you tend to the kids, you take Saturday and Sunday off from work, you don't take any work home with you. Not only has that not been my experience, it's not something I ever witnessed. My dad is someone I have the utmost respect for, especially related to his ambition, his tenacity, and his work ethic. I watched him work a 100% commission-paid job my entire life. He had 4 kids. Dude, that guy was on his phone or his BlackBerry, or before they had phones, his computer, emailing after the 9 to 5. He was up at 4 a.m., going in, sometimes earlier, up at 3 a.m., going in to the office to get ahead, to get shit done. He did not attend all of my practices and sporting events. He came damn near close. He did a phenomenal job making it look like there was a sense of balance, but he was working. He was doing things on the weekend. 9 to 5 did not constrain his ambition, his tenacity. He had mouths to feed, a family to support, and a lifestyle to live. So it always bugged me when a lot of my mentors early on in my career told me, hey, slow it down a little bit. Like, you need some balance in your life, spend some more time with family, with friends. And it never made sense to me. It never quite felt, and this is a key word I'm going to come back to, aligned. It never really felt authentic. It almost felt like, for me, and this is someone, as soon as I started my own business coaching back in really 2009, I was always working. Weekends were opportunities to get ahead. The hours before bedtime were the quiet hours. The hours in the morning before everybody was awake, that was the quiet time, the most opportunity to be productive, to get ahead, to tap into my creativity. So as the messages grew louder from society, from friends, from mentors, it almost felt like I was being asked to take my foot off the gas. And for a while, there was internal chaos trying to please people. Yet, when I would shift my focus to pleasing others or trying to satisfy society's definition of the word balance, it felt like I was doing myself a disservice. It felt incongruent. It felt inauthentic. And that created chaos internally and externally. It was one of the division points between me and my ex-wife, because I was married to my work for a long period of time. So I've really had this unique experience where I've seen how my life plays out, or the impact it has on those around me when I am married to my work, per se. But I have also dealt with the hardship and the emotional discomfort of slowing down to please somebody else. And the word I'm going to keep throwing around, and inevitably we're going to come back to it and define and unpack it more, is rather than chasing balance, not only do you need to redefine balance, your focus needs to be on alignment, on energetic alignment, Because when you are aligned, you are better able to connect with your authentic self, to have the honest, effective communication, to recreate the definition of balance that serves you and your unique gift and ability to bring that gift into the world. Because here's how continuing to operate by society's definition of the word balance is hindering you. And I need you to hear that again. Because if you're anything like me, if you're already connecting with what I'm sharing with you, it's a struggle. Your loved ones, society tell you to slow down, cut back. Yet there's a part of you that feels so wired to go, go, go. But you've probably also experienced the pattern of emotional burnout. You sprint for 6 weeks or 6 months, then you get incredibly sick. These nagging injuries pop up. You feel burnt out physically, emotionally, mentally. You suffer from brain fog. You struggle with clarity. The little things you used to be able to do under the umbrella of self-care suddenly feel harder, like you're climbing this uphill mountain just to get out of the bed in the morning without hitting snooze. So there's definitely this tug of war, this push and pull, if you will. And there's the voice that says, I have to slow down. I've got to spend more time with family. There might even be the voice that says, what does this all mean? Why am I working so hard? Yet then there's conversely the voice that says, go, push. You have a gift. You have an opportunity to change the world, to change the lives of others and leave a positive impact and a legacy. How do you make sense of it all? Well, it begins by, again, shifting your focus from chasing balance to seeking alignment. And once you seek alignment, you're able to redefine and recreate your unique definition of balance. Because here's what's happening. If you continue to fall victim of this perpetual pattern of pushing, going, it will come back to bite you in the ass. I'm a living testament of this. I have had all types of mysterious ailments, injuries, or just feeling like I'm working from a depleted fuel tank for an extended period of time because I've struggled to slow down. I struggle to take days off, to take vacations. And I am exponentially better today, even than a year ago, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years ago. I'm admittedly still a work in progress. Yet, I now operate from a place of alignment. rather than a place of balance. Because here's what's happening when you continue to push too long, push in an unsustainable manner. The stress you experience accumulates, becomes chronic. Your nervous system stops distinguishing between the threat of a triple bogey, a missed deadline, and a tiger hiding just outside in the bushes. Your body is flooded, overwhelmed even, with cortisol and adrenaline, which are chemicals designed for survival, not sustained peak performance. And over time, a lot of rewiring occurs. And this rewiring begins to dull the very systems that propelled you into high achiever status in the first place. The prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for your focus, creativity, decision-making, starts to go offline. Your limbic system, which governs emotion, becomes overactive, amplifying frustration, stress, anxiety, and irritability. And your dopamine system, which once fueled motivation, it flatlines, leaving you uninspired, drained, and numb. Suddenly you start making reactive, emotionally charged decisions, both on the golf course and in business. And maybe for you, it's tightening up over a shot you've hit 1,000 times. Or in the business realm, it's saying yes to things you know that you should decline. And slowly, you begin to lose your ability to see clearly, think strategically, or to even feel genuinely fulfilled. And this is the real cost of imbalance, not just fatigue, but disconnection. Ultimately, what's happening here, and I need you to really listen to me, you begin to lose touch with yourself. You begin to lose touch with your intuition, the joy that made you want to get better, push further, go faster in the first place. And that's an empty, hollow place to be. So again, we've seen the extreme, and maybe you've experienced the extreme like I have, of complete, utter imbalance, where you're neglecting not only the family time, the community aspects of your social life. You begin to neglect yourself. You struggle to make it to the gym. You struggle to get adequate amounts of sleep. You're putting regular, or I like to say, shit fuel into your body. It's unsustainable. You're reliant upon fast food, sugar. And it's a really tough place to be. Because underneath it is some type of current or belief that if I just push further, if I just work harder, if I just go a little bit longer operating at this speed, then I'll have my breakthrough. No, what happens is you burn yourself the fuck out. You inevitably reach E on the gas tank. You're operating from empty. You get sick. You get injured. You miss multiple opportunities. You become a shell of yourself on the course, in your business, trying to lead, manage, communicate, and delegate with others. And you create a much more difficult uphill battle moving forward, which is the one thing you tried to avoid altogether in the first place. So there's an opportunity here. Because I also know if you were to slow down completely, and maybe you're used to working 50, 55 hours a week now, and you were to cut it back to 30, yeah, it might feel good for a week or two, but there'd be a part of you inside going fucking crazy. So what do we do? Well, as I mentioned earlier, balance is not the goal. It's not about spending equal amount of time with your work, with your significant other, with your kids, with your hobbies. It's about alignment. It's about energetic alignment. It means getting radically clear on what actually matters to you, what drains you versus what fuels you, what you're willing to make sacrifices for and what you're not. And this has perhaps been my biggest learning lesson. Honest communication. Specifically, honest communication that starts with me. And the question I'm posing to you, and I'm challenging you to begin asking yourself multiple, dozens of times per day, what do I want? What do you want? My dear friend, what do you want? Because if you're not clear on what it is you want, you cannot effectively communicate what it is you want and what it is you need with both yourself and the most important people in your life who you will need support from. If you shy away from what you want, if you sugarcoat expressing what you want, if you lie to yourself about what you truly want, you will pay the price. Because if you're someone listening right now who identifies as a high performer, a high achiever, well aware of your unique gift and the opportunity you have to bring it and share it with the world, to push and grow your business, to get down to a certain handicap, to win or earn your tour card, win the local tournament, whatever it is that you're chasing and spending so much time, energy, and effort to, if you're not honest about all that you want, all that you desire, you're not equipped to clearly, honestly, and effectively ask for help, to delegate, to put the right people in the right seats around you. Because here's the truth. I've lived this firsthand. I have big professional business goals in the bucket of coaching, in the bucket of speaking, and in the bucket of book writing. And for the longest time, I shied away from that. I kept them so close to the vest. And ultimately, when people would ask or I'd had an opportunity to talk about what I was working on and where I wanted to be, I downplayed it. Not only because of fear of judgment, because ultimately, I was scared of sharing my big goal with the world because I hadn't had the honest conversation about what I want and why I want it. And as a result, I couldn't effectively communicate who I was, where I was going, what I wanted and needed in my life. And therefore, I didn't have the best supporting cast around me. And it wasn't those individuals' fault, it was mine. They got this version of me. They didn't get the real, authentic Paul because I was trapped trying to achieve this societal definition of the word balance. I really want to grow my business here. I really want to do this cool thing. But, family's really important over here and I got to take time off. There was just so much incongruency. People can feel your incongruency. Your subconscious picks up on that shit. You can feel it. You can feel in conversation when people just feel incongruent, misaligned. It's they talk the talk, they don't walk the walk. You might not even know them, but you can feel it. It's an energy, it's a vibe. But when you're honest in answering the question, what do I want? You can effectively communicate what you need, first of all, with yourself. And maybe your goal is to pour yourself into your startup. Your startup is not going to get off the ground with 40-hour weeks. I hate to break it to you. It's just not going to happen. Especially if you're trying to hold on to your day job simultaneously until you get some cash flow. You're not going to become a scratch golfer or earn your tour card with an hour or two of practice a week. It's just not how it works. That's not the operating system. It's not the collection of rules at that next level game you're trying to play. So you need to be honest with yourself about what you want, what it takes, and begin designing your schedule, your life around that, because that allows you to communicate this and how you're going about life, what goal you're approaching with a potential or a current significant other, with your children. If your son or daughter understands what mommy or daddy is working on, why it's important, and what's needed to achieve that goal, there's an opportunity for connection, for empathy, for understanding, for further support. Because you're vulnerable, you're real, you're honest. Honest communication begins with you yourself. What do I want? And when you're clear on what you want, you're better able to direct your energy to where it actually produces results, not scattering it across every demand, every distraction, or every expectation that comes your way. You're finding greater ease, focusing on what matters, and inevitably, there's a sense of freedom. A sense of power that comes with the clarity you gain by being able to honestly answer, what do I want? I know so many people then take this concept of balance, work-life balance, and maybe you're like me, you pondered, can I have it all? And I remember after my divorce, I really pondered, can I have a successful business and a successful marriage? And candidly, for a while, I didn't think it was possible because all of my stories and experiences versus what I'd seen on social media, it always seemed to me, in my limited view and unique experience to date, that it was one or the other. You see all the successful business owners and entrepreneurs who have been divorced and remarried. Or maybe it was my social media filled with all these happy, lovey-dovey couples, and they just had mediocre 9-to-5s. But who am I to judge what makes people happy? Who am I to judge what leaves them fulfilled, overflowing with love, abundance, presence? Not me. But at the time, that's what it feels like. It was one or the other. Can I have it all? The fastest way to have it all is to get very clear on what it is all you want. If candidly, your business, your ability to give your gift to the world through leadership, through communication, through building a team to leave that positive impact, if that's priority number one, own it. Own it. Sometimes it's hard to do because you're going to be judged. You're going to be ridiculed. You're going to be called selfish, self-absorbed. But the heart wants what the heart wants. You've got a gift, something to share, something to spread, something to help others, something to leave a positive impact on the world. You've got to take ownership of what it is you want. Again, I can't stress it enough. Be honest with what you want. Because guess what? If what you want is goal A, and you know attainment of goal A requires, arbitrary example, 60 hours of work a week for the next 3 to 5 years, you can effectively communicate that and find the ideal partner. And should the two of you want children, you can develop the family structure, the parenting plan that allows the two of you to stay in your unique zone of genius, to blend and complement each other well. But if you have this big overarching goal and you continue to tell potential partners or your current partner, I want 40 hours. So I only need 40 hours a week. I only need actually 20 hours a week. No, I'm free every weekend. No, I'll never work after 6 p.m. You're fooling him or her. You're fooling yourself. It's a recipe for disaster. So honest communication becomes the foundation of real balance. Every single breakthrough begins with honest communication. And that honest communication starts with yourself. When you're clear on what you want, suddenly things begin to feel aligned. Opportunities begin to appear. A newfound sense of ease and clarity grow with each passing day. So balance is more about alignment, clarity, honesty in what it is you want, where it is you're going. And the truth is, big goals require big sacrifices. You can have it all. But if you imagine a dashboard in front of you right now, with all of the things you want to have in your life, each with a dial that could be set between, let's call it 0 and 100. They might not all be set at 100. You can still have the best marriage, the best parenting relationship experience in the world, and lead a business, lead a team, help others. They just might look like they're set at different dials based on the amount of time you have allotted to pour into each of one of those priorities. And guess what? Even better, these priorities, how you distribute your time, your energy, changes. It might change with the season. It may change every couple years. It might change every couple months. And you have permission to change what matters most. You have the opportunity to reflect, to shift, to update, to call an audible. It all begins with effective communication. Now, I will say this. I know we're really hitting this concept of balance or imbalance from multiple angles. Something that I never really so clearly put together that I had done in the past that was very helpful in avoiding burnout became incredibly clear when I had my mentor, Elliot Rowe, on the show. He'll come out, I think his conversation comes out October 30th, so we're a couple weeks away from that. But he is a coach to the top of the top in the world. High performers and UFC, poker players, 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs. He's my mentor for a reason. He's damn good at what he does. So I'm a sponge every time I converse with him. But one of the best pieces of advice he shares in that conversation is all of his clients, he ensures they have some non-industry or non-sport specific hobby. So for example, maybe for the golfer, it's the weight room or pickleball. Maybe for the entrepreneur who's so dedicated to growing his or her business, it is golf, or maybe it is pickleball, or maybe it's bird watching or photography. But it is an outlet that allows their mind to go so far away from their primary focus to be completely detached, because that's actually when the subconscious integration of skill and knowledge acquisition and development takes place, which allows them to return to their respective craft, not only physically and emotionally rejuvenated and restored, but mentally as well. More clarity, more decisiveness, more dot connecting moments having occurred, so they can continue to push because they have filled up their metaphorical, emotional, mental, and physical gas tanks. So if we start to now paint this picture of this redefined version and definition of balance, it's really alignment. And it starts with honest communication. What do I want? What is necessary to get there? From there, you can honestly communicate with your partner, your children, your support network, your friends, coworkers, and colleagues. And that allows you to actually feel more heard, more seen, more understood. As high performers, we often feel misunderstood. Nobody quite gets us. Nobody understands the voices, the dialogue in our head in those quiet waking hours in the middle of the night. Nobody really understands just how driven we feel to go do this thing, this compulsion, this magnetic pull. But through honest communication with yourself and therefore honest communication with others, you're creating an opportunity to feel more understood, which is supporting, which is validating. And those are all a collection of our core human needs. And from there, you can continue to see how, where, and why it's important to do non-craft or non-sport specific activity. How important and how restorative it can be to still prioritize pouring into your significant other, your children, your non-industry specific hobby, because that restores you and ultimately helps support sustainability, prevents emotional, physical, and mental burnout. So true balance, as I start to wrap us up here, it's not about dividing your time. It's about defining your truth. It's not about perfection. It's about intentionality. When you start to strip away the noise, you begin to say no to what's misaligned and communicate honestly, you reclaim your energy. You reclaim your focus, and you reclaim the fulfillment that high performance actually requires. And if you're ready to find that clarity, ready to redefine balance on your own terms, ready to become aligned, I encourage you to reach out. I encourage you to visit the link in the show notes below. Let's set up a mindset coaching discovery call so that you can learn how to perform, how to lead, and how to live in alignment without sacrificing your edge. I thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm hopeful that this conversation landed in your ears at the exact perfect moment it needed to. And I trust that it did. And I trust I'll have an exciting update after this week's member guest to share with you next Monday. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. If you found today's conversation helpful, share it with a friend, a coworker, a colleague, a family member, fellow golfer. And I'm going to give you a homework assignment. I wrote an article as part of the More Pars Than Bogeys newsletter I send out every Friday that further digs into some of the detail of this concept, of this myth around balance. I want you to read it. I want you to take action on the action steps I shared at the end. You've got a handful of journaling prompts that'll really help you begin to connect with your authentic self, to create the alignment, the congruency you need to live life on your terms. I thank you for listening. Have a fantastic start to the week. And I'll see you on Thursday's episode. Take care.